Story number one. Neither of you is the boss of me. I used to work as a pickup clerk at a nearby supermarket chain, but I stopped working there about a year ago. But because of my job, I basically have the entire store memorized and can quickly point out what row something should be in if asked. That, plus the fact that I sometimes chat with my old coworkers, could make someone easily assume I work there. I was there yesterday, looking for ingredients I was missing for dinner. But while I was there, someone walked up to me. She was about the same age as me and had the same vibe of, I need to find something, but I'm too anxious to just ask an employee around her that I usually have. She got my attention. Woman number one, politely, can you tell me where to find item number one? I pointed out to her. She thanked me and went on her way. And then I went back to looking for my ingredients. About a minute later, someone else came up to me and got my attention. But before I could even say yes, she started talking. Woman number two, I need to get item number two. Me. Oh, that's aisle, the number of the aisle. Woman number two, I already checked there and they were all out. Me. Oh, well, sorry about that. Maybe they'll have some more later. I then turned to go back to my shopping. Woman number two, can't you just go back and check? Of course, I was pretty confused at that point and turned to look at her. No, I don't work here. She immediately started to get annoyed. Woman number two, yes, you do. I've seen you around here before, and you just finished helping that other lady. Me, well, I used to work here, so I know where stuff is, but I quit like a year ago. Woman number two, don't give me that. Why else would you be here all the time? Me, because I shop here. He started to look genuinely pissed when I said that for some reason, and I decided then was a perfect time to leave and avoid getting yelled at. I continued getting what I needed, constantly checking over my shoulder to make sure I wasn't being followed and probably looking incredibly suspicious. I finally got everything I needed and made a beeline toward the self-checkout area. The self-checkout space is directly across from the customer service area, where you can look up and look directly at the self-checkout. I say that because when I finished bagging my stuff, I looked up to see woman number two talking to my old manager at the customer service desk. I should also note that my old manager is a large chunk of why I decided to quit. She is a controlling asshole who constantly breathes down other people's throats instead of doing any actual work. Surprisingly, she was doing her job for once and nodded along while woman number two angrily ranted at her. I decided to ignore the two and started to head toward the exit. But of course, that was the exact moment that woman number two decided to look over and spot me trying to leave. She pointed at me and yelled, woman number two, her! That girl right there! Of course, everyone stopped and started to stare at me, which would have made just leaving a lot more awkward. So I stopped in my tracks. My old manager leaned over the counter to look at me, made a confused face, then turned to the lady. Manager, sorry ma'am, but she doesn't work here anymore. Apparently, being proved wrong by the manager was woman number two's tipping point, because she suddenly started to scream at my old manager. Woman number two, you're the manager! She's an employee! Tell her to help me now! Surprisingly, my old manager gathered up the gall to actually turn to me again at that. Manager, my name. Do you mind helping her? I was genuinely shocked at her question. I knew she would do anything for a customer at her employee's expense, but I didn't think it would extend to people that didn't even work for her. Me? Are you going to pay me? Manager. No, but then yes, I do mind. See ya. And before either of them could say anything, I sped walked out of the store. I heard woman number 2 start yelling again, but I couldn't properly catch what she was saying before I fully exited the store and headed toward my car. I'm just still reeling at both how furious that lady got and the gall of my old manager to attempt to order me around after I haven't worked for her in literally a year. The more things change, the more they stay the same. Story number 2. Your boss is just sick. My boss has just come back from a weeks-long vacation. She shuffles in and puts her head down on her desk. My boss is anti-vaccine, and this story is about a year before a certain worldwide health crisis. Me. How was your trip? Boss. The first few days were great, but I got this horrible cold now. My head is pounding and everything hurts. Me. Do you need to go home and sleep it off or go to the doctor? Boss. No, I'll be fine. Me. Are you sure? I can cover. Boss. I know what you're thinking. I won't get you sick. About 2 hours later, I need her to approve some paperwork. Our system allows users to send requests to a supervisor's computer, and they can approve electronically. I do this. Me. Hey, boss. I just sent you an approval. Boss. Oh, I'll come over and do it. Me. No. I sent it to you electronically. Boss. I'll just come over. Me. No, you're sick. I'd rather you didn't. My boss comes over, does the approval, and then starts touching everything. My pens, my phone, my drawer handles, etc. Me. What are you doing? Stop it. Boss. Oh, my bad. She walks back to her desk. I sanitize everything and go back to work. I go to lunch soon after. After I get back from lunch, one of my coworkers comes over to my desk. Coworker, hey, the boss was over here using your computer during lunch and coughing all over the place. Me, what? Coworker, he said her computer was having issues or something. She said not to tell you since you're a germaphobe and don't let it me. Super. I sanitize everything again and get back to work. Less than 48 hours later, I wake up with body aches, a pounding headache, a cough, and a fever. Basically, it feels like a truck hit me. I call my doctor and rattle off my symptoms to the nurse practitioner on duty. I asked if I need to come in to get checked. Nurse, nope, you don't need to come in. It's a nasty strain of influenza A. I'm putting a prescription in for you for Tamiflu right now. We've seen a bunch of cases this week with identical symptoms. Seems our flu shot didn't cover this strand. It's highly contagious. Me. Of course it is. I am out of work for 5 days. When I return to work, I get this gem. Boss. The flu, huh? I guess the flu shot doesn't work after all. Me. There is not much defense against a sick person coughing all over my desk. You didn't do that on purpose to prove a point, did you? Because if you did, I raise an eyebrow at her. Her face turns red. Boss. I didn't have the flu, so no. Me. You're the only sick person I've been around, and we have matching symptoms. Boss. It wasn't the flu, because I did not have any stomach issues. Me. The stomach flu isn't actually a flu. The actual flu is what we had. Body aches, fever, headache, coughing. Boss. Well, I didn't have it because I feel better. Me. Wait, what? Boss. Exactly. I found a new job soon after. Story number 3. Boss is sus AF. I work with a lot of customer data, so it's required that I lock my office when I leave for the day. I always check this before I leave. One morning, I walked in and my office door is unlocked and cracked open. There are 3 people who have keys to my office. Me, my boss, and the custodian. My boss and I didn't always get along, but I don't think much of it, and she doesn't really get along with anyone. Me. Hey, boss. Boss. Yeah. Me. Why is my door open? Boss. Maybe you left it unlocked, or you didn't pull the door all the way closed. Me. I thought I locked it and double-checked it last night. I started triple-checking my office door before I leave every day. A week later, it happens again. This time, the door is unlocked and wide open, and some stuff on my desk had been moved around. This time, I know I didn't leave the door open or unlocked. Me. Boss. Boss. Yes? Me. Was anyone in my office last night or this morning? Boss. Why? Me. My door was wide open and my desk was messed with. Boss. Cleaning crew, maybe. Me. They've never done that before. My suspicions are raised, but I don't say anything. The next day, I walk into work. The door to my office is wide open and the lights are on. Me. Again. What the heck? I heard noises inside. I pop my head around the corner in the door frame. My boss is digging around in my customers' files. Me. Mystery solved. My boss jumps up and stares at me. Boss. My name. Oh, you scared me. Me. What are you doing? Boss. I'm your boss. I can be in here if I want. She folds her arms and glares at me. Me. Is there something you're looking for? I can help you find? Boss. The file for customer name. No problem. The file in question is right in plain sight. I walk in, grab it, and hand it to her. Boss. Thank you. Me. You could have just asked me to find it for you. I don't mind. My boss's face turns red. Boss. I'm your boss. Me. And I'm offering to help. Do you want me to show you my system? In this drawer are files that I'm actively working on. And boss, I can be in your office anytime I want. I don't need to justify anything to you. She spins around and walks out. I can't resist one parting shot. Me. Make sure you shut and lock the door when you're done. I turned to my work and found that she's gone through my desk and drawers as well. I sighed irritably. I don't work there anymore. I'm still not sure what she was hoping to find. Story number 4. Don't make employees fight your battles, boss. My first proper job after leaving school is in a tiny sales company, consisting of the boss, his wife, 2 salesmen, and 1 admin, me. The job market is terrible, so I am fortunate to be employed. Or so I thought. There are no proper rules. The boss makes things up as he goes along. So we're constantly doing things wrong. Basically, we do things the way they were done yesterday, but he'll have changed his mind overnight, and he never makes mistakes. He always insists he is right and has some convoluted, complex reasoning for anything he does. I'm 17 and have no idea of the way a company is supposed to be ran. So I mostly just do whatever the boss says. There is one single rule that we are not to break under any circumstances. Every phone call has to be answered within 3 rings. No excuses, no exceptions. We should never, ever leave a phone ringing. One day, I get a call from a customer who is expecting a refund and hasn't received it and wants to speak to the boss. I put the call through. 10 minutes later, he comes out, "Boss, if she calls again, I don't want to speak to her." She calls the next day. Customer, "I still haven't gotten my refund. Can I speak to the boss again, please?" Me, "He isn't available right now." Customer, "He has been promising me a refund for the past 2 weeks and he keeps making excuses. Can you please have him call me back?" I give him the message. He rolls his eyes, throws it in the bin. The next day she calls again, demanding to be put through to him. When I say he isn't available, she hangs up and rings again 10 minutes later. I say he still isn't available, and she says she will call all day until he speaks to her. True to her word, she calls every 10 minutes, getting angrier and angrier. He refuses to take any of the calls, and I am just to say he isn't available. Finally, after about 2 hours, she refuses to hang up. Customer, "I know he's there. Now put him on." I ask him what to do, and he says to just hang up on her. She rings back immediately, absolutely furious, shouting at me and demanding to speak to him. And I am trying desperately not to cry. I put her on hold and beg him to take the call, and he refuses. He says to hang up again. I do, and I tell him she was really angry and shouting, and she will probably call back. "Boss, just answer, and if it's her, hang up." I stare at the phone, crying and terrified, and of course, it rings again. After 3 rings, the boss yells, "Answer the phone!" I grab it, and she immediately starts screaming. Customer, "Don't hang up! Don't you dare hang up! I want to speak to the boss right now!" I have no idea how to handle this. I do the only thing I can't think of. I pretend I can't hear her. Over her screaming, I just say, "Hello? Company's name? Hello? Hello?" And then I hang up. By this point, I'm shaking and feel sick. When the phone rings again, I answer, and of course, it is her. And she is rightfully furious. I just put the phone straight through to the boss and go to the bathroom and sit on the floor, having a panic attack. When I go back to my desk, My boss comes out of his office and glares at me. Boss, don't ever do that again. And he slams his door. I lasted another 2 months in that job, literally afraid to go to work every day, but needing the money. The last day I was there, the boss walked in and told us that the company was going bankrupt. We weren't going to be paid and to go home.
I know you see, girl, this thing sitting real good in my soul. Everywhere this little bit gone, she pick up another love